use case may sound very exciting, but if the data is not available, the process is not standardized, or the regulatory risk is too high, it may not be the best fit, or it may not be the best first project for you, right? So, for example, an AI-enabled document quality check may be relatively easy to implement because the output can be tested. We can measure whether the tool correctly identifies the inconsistencies, the missing references, the formatting issues, mismatched information across the documents. Similarly, a health authority question database may be a very valuable AI use case because many companies will already have a lot of historical questions and responses through their previous health authority engagements. AI can help you classify them, cluster them into themes, and can also help the teams learn from the past regulatory interactions. So regulatory intelligence can another very strong use case because there are public sources, repeated monitoring required, and a clear value in faster impact assessment is there. However, if you look at the other hand, other side of it, there are some use cases such as I mentioned earlier, the strategic procedure management or high impact regulatory decision making. This may require more mature governance and stronger validation. So the message is not to avoid ambitious use cases. The message is actually to sequence them wisely, start with controlled, measurable use cases, build organizational trust, establish some form of governance, demonstrate the value before you move into more complex and higher impact applications. Now, what I have done is I don't know how much this will be useful for all the students, but I've given some use cases which I am currently considering in my organization. So probably you might be able to relate to this. Um, this first use case is regulatory intelligence and horizon scanning. And traditionally, regulatory intelligence has involved manual website checks. So what happens in regulatory intelligence is basically you're scanning the external world to see what's coming your way, and try to filter all that information into meaningful insights for your organization, right? So you're trying to preempt, slightly be ahead of the game in terms of looking at what is expected to come, which may impact our future. That's what regulatory intelligence is all about, right? So it involves a lot of manual website checks, email newsletters, spreadsheet trackers, conference updates, and a lot of expert memory is wasted. This approach works, but it is difficult to scale. Important updates may be missed, information may be duplicated. The same update may mean different things for different products, different markets, or even different functions within the organization. AI can help change this from searching of updates to turning updates into insights. So an AI-enabled regulatory intelligence system can ingest information from health authority websites, guidance documents, journals, public consultation documents, and it can classify such updates by topic, by market, by product type, and even by responsible function, as I said. It can help you summarize what has changed, why it matters, what actions should be considered. So this is a very nice use case, and a lot of pharmaceutical companies do invest in this use case when they start exploring AI in their growth journey. The second use case is a submission authoring and a dossier quality use case. This is one of the most relatable use case for regulatory affairs. A regulatory dossier contains many sections. I'm not sure how familiar all of you are with a regulatory dossier structure. And there's a lot of information that sits across a regulatory dossier. And most of this information are correlated across the dossier. So consistency is very important. AI can support drafting certain sections. It can help you also do quality checks. For authoring, AI can help create structured drafts using approved templates, controlled source documents. For review, AI can help you check whether numbers are consistent, whether the product names are used correctly across, whether claims are supported by source data, whether there's something that is missing based upon your previous experiences with a health authority submission. So there is a lot AI can achieve there as well. So this is another very nice use case, when it comes to AI use in regulatory affairs. And the third use case, as I was explaining, is kind of linked with the previous use case, but this is where every regulatory department accumulates a lot of valuable knowledge through their health authority interactions over a period of time, right? The opportunity here is to how to leverage on that knowledge for your future health authority interactions. And AI can play a very, very nice role there. AI can help turn those scattered history of information into reusable knowledge asset for the organization. So for example, AI can classify past health authority questions by topic, either quality, clinical, non-clinical, labeling, whatnot. It can help you cluster similar questions across the products or markets. It can help you retrieve previous responses, show what strategy was used, what worked out, what did not work out. It can throw you recommendations of what you may consider to do. At the end of the day, it will still be human who will make the final decision, but AI can act as a mentor and facilitator during the process. Okay, now let us discuss governance in pharmaceuticals. We cannot use AI casually when the output may affect regulatory evidence. It can affect patient safety, it can affect GXP processes, it can affect company commitments. So AI governance should be designed like a quality system, proportional, documented, and accountable. First, companies needs an enterprise AI policy, which tools are approved, what data can be entered, what data cannot be entered, what is acceptable use, what is prohibited. Second, each use case should have a risk assessment. Does it affect GXP or not? Does it affect regulatory submission or not? Does it affect patient safety or not? Does it involve confidential data or personal data? Third, it should be validated and proportionately validated based upon the risk that you have categorized. For a low risk summarization tool, the testing may be relatively simple, but for a tool supporting a regulatory evidence or submission content generation, the testing must be stronger. Fourth, there must be human in the loop review. Who checks the output? Who will approve the final content? Who should an issue be escalated to? Regulatory authorities do expect a final human accountability to anything that's being shared with them. Fifth, there must be an audit trail and a life cycle control. Which version of the tool was used? What sources were used? What prompts were used? Did the model change? Is the performance reviewed periodically? And so on and so forth. So this does not mean that we should be afraid of AI. It means that we should be using it with same discipline that we apply to any other regulated systems. So for students, this is a major career opportunity, I feel. People who would understand both regulatory expectations and AI governance will be highly valuable, and that is where the nicheness of this profession comes. If you talk about the future. Now, I think this is the elephant in the room question, isn't it? Will AI reduce jobs? Um, I don't know how many of you probably are thinking of this question. I do not think it is credible to say that AI will have no impact on jobs. It will. But the better way to think about this is AI will reduce tasks before it starts reducing roles, right? So certain tasks are likely to be automated going forward. These includes, as I said, document searches, summarization, formatting checks, template checks, routine comparison, classifications, so on and so forth, right? Some tasks will be augmented because of AI. For example, the regulatory strategy making, health authority response planning, right? Risk-based decision support, cross-market life cycle planning, and so on and so forth. But there would be some tasks which will still remain distinctly human, where AI probably will have a very, very less role to play. The accountability, the ethics, the scientific judgment under uncertainty, the stakeholder influence, the negotiation with the the leadership, the mentoring, and the trust. These things can never be automated, right? So the career implication is hence very important. Professionals who only move documents from one place to another, or maybe are doing administrative work, may become vulnerable. But the professionals who are helping the organization interpret evidence, challenge AI outputs, or help the organizations manage governance risks, make decisions, manage regulatory procedures, influence stakeholders. These will never go, right. So this will always remain valuable for the organizations, and I don't see how AI may augment these parts of the role, but I don't think AI will replace these part of someone's role. So for students, this means that the entry level work may change. In the past, junior professionals often learnt by doing manual searches, formatting documents, preparing tasks. So when you join an organization, the first work which is normally given to you are very simple activities, which may be on the edge of being very administrative in nature. Now, I do see that some of that work will become very, very automated very, very soon. So students must deliberately how safety assessments are done, how eventually a benefit risk assessment is done, taking all of this into consideration, right? Have a good understanding of how life cycle management of a product works, how labeling works. So all of these are foundation to regulatory affairs professionals, and you should be very, very strong in these. AI is only useful if you understand all of this, right? Second, I would suggest develop data literacy. You do not need to be an advanced statistician, but you should understand data quality, where bias can creep in, what's the structured versus unstructured data, why the same data set can lead to different conclusions depending upon the context. So this is going to be one of the areas which I think will be very valuable in the future. Third, of course, is AI literacy. Learn how large language models work at a very basic level. Of course, start to understand how prompts work. What are the risks? For example, I'm sure you have heard about terms like hallucinations. So there are limitations of AI, and so be aware of those limitations. Be aware of why an AI output must be checked. Use AI tools in your learning, but do not accept their answers blindly. Fourth, build a governance mindset. Learn about privacy, learn about confidentiality, data integrity, GXP expectations, audit trails, ethics and responsible use. In regulated industries, how you generate the answer is often as important as the answer itself. And fifth, strengthen your communication skills. The future regulatory professionals must translate these technical outputs into decisions, right? And that's where the value add would be for regulatory affairs professionals. So you may need to explain an AI generated analysis to a quality expert, to a clinician, to a data scientist, right, to a regulatory authority. So you should be able to analyze that information and be able to clearly present that information. So I think the communication will remain a key differentiator. And as well, a note of advice for the academic faculty is that there is also an opportunity here. The curriculums that you are developing can evolve to include regulatory data standards. It can have AI ethics. You can consider having digital quality systems, how case-based evidence evaluation works. So this is an opportunity. I do feel that the academic bodies should work with the industry together to see how can they help the students to build in some of these skill sets early on in the process. um, I think I've got one more slide. This is my last slide. So I wanted to close with these three messages. One is AI in regulatory affairs is no longer a futuristic idea. It is becoming a reality now. Regulators are developing frameworks, as you heard from me. Regulators themselves are also started using AI, right? The strongest near-term regulatory affairs use cases are very practical. They sit where text, evidence, quality, and repeated processes intersect. Right? I gave you a few use cases, and a lot of companies have started already using them or are in the process of doing that. The future belongs to professionals who can combine regulatory judgment with data and AI literacy. So for students, this is actually an exciting time to enter the profession. Regulatory affairs is becoming more strategic, more digital, more evidence driven, and more connected to the patient access than ever before. So, my closing thought is do not aim to become someone who merely uses AI. Aim to become professionals who can translate AI into a better regulatory decisions, who can explain what AI does, and eventually relate it to the advantage of the company and eventually the patients for whom we all work together. So that was my last slide. Thank you very much. I'm very happy to take on any questions if you have. I'll stop sharing my slides.
Thank you very much, sir. The presentation was very informative. And I would now request the participants to uh, take up any questions or as requests.
Recording stopped.
I would request
Recording in progress.
participants to send their queries. Sir would be taking up if any participants. Sir, there are certain questions in the chat box, sir. Sir, first question is how do we deal with false positive results associated with AI in drug discovery? The second question is can AI prediction alone justify drug approval? And there are certain questions, sir, if you would like to answer.
Yeah, so I probably can partially answer the first question. Can definitely answer the second question. They can be. I think there has to be multiple approaches. So when you are asking a question through an AI, first of all, you should be very careful in trying to validate that response. So approach a question from multiple angles is what I will suggest. Don't blindly follow whatever AI is throwing at you. Um, and there can be many ways of doing it. And within regulatory affairs, I can explain how we do it. And that's why I said I can partially answer the first question. Maybe that was a very nice question for Dr. Subhendu yesterday, whose session was more drug discovery related. So he might be able to give you more practical insights of how that works. But in regulatory affairs, what we normally would do is you will use a multi-pronged approach when you're trying to. So, for example, let's take an example. So, I'm trying to find out um, if, say, I'm working on a drug, and I need to find out what might be the expectations of a particular regulatory authority when it comes to, say, the clinical data for that drug. I'm just making it up right now to explain myself. Um, and you can prompt you can use one of the tools and you can send a prompt and you can get an answer. But what will be very helpful is if you give some context to that prompt, right? So for example, which therapy area is this drug applicable, right? What kind of indications are you talking about? What if you would like the tool to look at some of the examples, preceding examples, or there may be some precedents available where a product with a very similar in a very similar therapy area was granted a regulatory approval by a health authority. So if you have got some leads already, give that, set the context carefully when you are using an AI based tool. Try to give as much of lead as possible. So the more time you spend giving the context, the more time you spend uh, guiding the AI tool in the areas you want the AI tool to look at, the better are the chances of you getting a very specific and a highly efficient answer. Um, the other way of looking at it is also keep a multi-pronged approach. Sometimes when you receive a response from AI and when you're reading through it, um, if you are experienced in regulatory affairs, you will know something may be too good to be true, and you may like to sometimes challenge those as well, right? So there are many ways of doing that. And the answer to the second question is, can you? Sorry, what was the second question? Can I go back to the question just a second? How do we ensure? Sorry, no. Can AI prediction alone justify drug approval? The answer is no, it cannot. As I said earlier, AI can help you. It can help you augment the decision-making process. It cannot lead to a drug approval process. So once you have all the data available that has been generated, AI can help you put the data in a structured manner. It can help you review the data, but at the end of the day, you will have to interpret the data, and you will have to then make sense of that data and help justify your case to a regulatory authority. You know, at the end, you will probably learn when you go into regulatory affairs, everything is a question of benefit risk. So if you are working on a drug, a regulatory approval is granted normally when you can prove that there is a positive benefit risk. So that whole exercise of proving if there is a positive benefit risk will always remain human. AI can help you, but it cannot generate that assessment for you. I don't know whether that was good enough or not. Some more questions, I guess.
Yes, sir. There is another question. If AI is handling more data, how do we ensure the accuracy and reliability of these data in regulatory submissions?
Yeah. So by QCing, by building in quality control, so there has to be a human review involved always. And again, it can be a risk-based approach. It depends upon what kind of data you're talking about. Manufacturing data may be low risk, but
Recording stopped.
if it comes to drug safety data, it may be high risk. So again, regulatory authorities have different risk appetites when it comes to regulatory data. I can tell you this that I'm sure you are aware of product labeling, right? Product information. So when you buy a product pack from the market, there is a leaflet inside the product pack, right? And that leaflet contains a lot of safety information of that product, right? Now, in regulatory term, that's the regulatory risk management mechanism, and it's called an RMS, risk management system. Now, I can tell you this that if you are using AI to create such a leaflet and you are submitting that without a human review, that will never be accepted. That will always be considered a high risk because if a small mistake happens, it is misguiding patients on how to use a drug. So it will always be considered high risk. But there may be other sections, other parts of our submissions which may be considered as low risk. So again, I will say there will always be a human review element required. How much of that human element review element is important will be a risk-based approach. Sorry, what is the next question?
Sir, the next question is, sir, what does the governance model means and how does AI interfere it?
Sorry, I did not understand the question. So governance model means basically if we are going to use AI in your regulatory processes, you should have a model which will qualify the AI model first. So there has to be a way the AI model has to be qualified that it is fit for purpose, right? And then there has to be a way you will always manage the life cycle of that AI model. There is and the outputs that you generate using that AI models, you should be able to trace back. So suppose you have an AI model and you constantly keep on upgrading that model based upon the new technology and the new learning you're coming with.
Recording in progress.
You should be able to link back the outputs to those models. There should be a traceability. So you should be able to know which model was used for what output. So when I say governance model, any company going into generating AI models, which they eventually are going to use for regulatory activities, you need a governance system, in which you are validating those AI systems. You're managing those, so this becomes GXP. So there is a lot of validation required, and there should be a traceability as well. So you should be able to do all of that. So that's what I meant when I say governance model. It is not as good as, you have a chat GPT, you do something and you get an output, and that's it. It's not as simple as that. That's what I'm trying to say. If you are going to create an AI model which you are going to use for regulatory submission, it has to be well validated, and it has to be well controlled. It has to work in a controlled environment, is what I meant.
Sir, one last question. How to validate AI tools and the generated results before proceeding for any regulatory submissions, and what are the responses?
Yeah, I'm not the best person to answer that question. That's too technical. There are people who, that's validating an AI tool becomes a bit of technical work, honestly speaking. So you do need to understand a bit more of, a layman or a regulatory affairs personnel may not be best placed to do such validation. So you do need information, your IT teams, you do need your IT QA teams to get involved as a part of the process. So again, that's not my forte, and that's not my core area. I may not be able to answer that question, unfortunately.
Thank you very much, sir. I think
Welcome.
there are no more questions.
Okay, I am very happy. If there are any further questions, feel free to reach out to me. Dr. Romeo has got my email address. I will be very happy to take on any questions, even later on, if needed. But thank you very much for this opportunity. Really love to be a part of this session, and all the best for the rest of the session.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank
Thank you
you
very much.
very much, sir, for this very informative session. You have greatly ignited our knowledge regarding AI and its applications in academia and industry. Thank you very much, sir, for accepting our invitation and being a part of this webinar. We are truly privileged. As a token of appreciation and gratitude, do I now invite Dr. Amir Kumar Prastisher, Dean Faculty of Pharmacy, to present a token of appreciation to you, sir.
Yes. So thank you, Dr. Abhishek, for giving such an insightful talk on a less talked topic, I think, but very essential to know everybody. Because regulatory affairs, when you are introducing something, some new molecules in foreign markets, it is very essential to know. So I think it will help our students when they will go to industries very much, this topic. And once again, thank you for accepting our invitation, sparing a lot of time for this very insightful talk. So please accept this
Thank you very much.
token
Thank
of
you so much.
appreciation,
Thank you
and I
very
will
much.
send it to you by post. Okay. So
Thank you
thank
very
you.
much. Thanks for having me, and all the best, everyone, for your future. Thank you very
Okay.
much.
Thank you. We'll talk. Huh?
Bye
Thank you.
bye.
Bye bye. Bye bye.
Thank you so much, Dr. Sena. Now we shall proceed with our session, and hopefully our eminent second speaker is currently with us, Mr.
Santosh sir,
Santosh
are
Kumar
you there?
Roshan.
Santosh sir, are you there?
Yes, yes, I'm there.
Ah, yes, sir is there. Sir is there. Okay. Go on, go on.
Thank you, sir. We are very delighted to have you, sir, on this online podium. So, a great welcome to this second day of our 3-day national webinar on AI driven drug discovery and its perspectives in academia and industry. Thank you for accepting an invitation, sir, and joining with us. So, we are highly delighted to have you, sir. Let me have a brief welcome note to sir. Mr. Santosh Kumar Roshan, currently the Deputy Manager of Corporate Quality Assurance at Alembic Pharmaceuticals Limited, Mumbai. Mr. Roshan is a pharmaceutical professional with expertise in quality assurance, pharmaceutical analysis, regulatory compliance, microbiology, sterility testing, chemical analysis, and instrumental analysis as well. In academia, he holds a master's degree in pharmaceutical analysis and quality assurance from BPUT Odisha and holds a postgraduate diploma degree in pharmaceutical regulatory affairs from Jamia Hamdard University, New Delhi. He has also completed a skill development program on pharmacovigilance organized by the Indian Pharmacopoeia Association. With more than 2 decades of industrial exposure through his association with reputed pharmaceutical companies, including Alembic Pharmaceuticals, Macleod Pharmaceuticals, Sun Pharmaceuticals, and Alchem Laboratories, he brings extensive practical knowledge to pharmaceutical quality systems and industry practices. We warmly welcome you, sir, and we are looking forward for your valuable insights. Over to you, sir.
Thank you so much, and thank you to Dr. Prosti and CV Raman Global University whole team to give this opportunity to be here. So it's my privilege. So without wasting time, I will start with my PPT. So hope you have given the share right to me, na? Uh, I want to just add some points for especially for the students, those are in audience team. So, students, you have a great opportunity. You have gone through lots of the valuable, lots of the informative sessions, and the last one session was also lots of informations. But in your aspects, so you have to be careful on your thought process. Why I'm adding that one? Because you are at the verge of getting the opportunity in the different fields. So pharma have the different so many fields, and now opportunities increasing in the field of AI related processes, AI related control systems, AI related discovery systems. So you need to have a very precise on your thought process. Otherwise, it will be very difficult to find out that in which field I have to go. So I'm not saying to minimize your thought process, but you need to precise your thought process, right? So keep in your mind, this is just a message to students because what am I seeing? I have interviewed almost thousands of students in my career during campus drive or during the open interview session or in the industry.
Recording stopped.
So what have I seen? That students have not a fixed aim, not a fixed goal. What have I to do? They are answering that I may join in quality control, I may join in R&D, I may join in production. Whenever and whatever job I will get, I will continue that one. But if you will focusing from the third year or fourth year in the B Pharma and the first year of the M Pharma, then you can set a goal and you need to focus for that one goal. Because a simple phrase is that you know that the person or for today the student, the person without any goal are known as the destructive element of the society. And if you convert it for the student, then if a student have not any goal, then they can destroy, they can destruct their career. So focus on that. Lots of
Recording in
informations are
progress.
available on the internet. Lots of mentors are there. Your faculty members have the good exposure, good knowledge, and very much relations in the industry. But the final decision should be of you. So I'll continue with the slide. So AI-driven drug delivery system, drug discovery system. So here we'll discuss on the opportunities and challenges for the pharma industries. Here, AI make possibilities to the probability. whatever possibilities are there, it might turn to probability, and probability will produce the product. There is probability to produce the product. We'll discuss in the aspects of Indian pharmaceutical market. I have made the informations, I have collected the informations and designed the slides in that way that what Indian market, what Indian pharmaceutical market requires and what to do. So, transforming research, development, and healthcare innovations are there. So, the first thing comes in your mind that why drug discovery needs AI. Why not? We can continue. Why not adopt the traditional drug delivery system, traditional drug development system, traditional regulatory affairs system? So these are some points which are mentioned here regarding the. We cannot say that this is a drawback. This is the current situation with the traditional drug development system. For a one molecule, 10 to 15 years need for its development cycle, then the 10% or less than 10% out of the all the developmental cycles produce a one to two products, new molecules, which comes in the market. Multi-billion dollars costing, complex biological system, it's very tough to understand to the scientists. So rising healthcare demands, increasing R&D costs, low success rates of the drug candidate, I've already explained. And now it's a scenario to produce the product faster. So these are the basic requirements. That's why AI comes in the market, and the scope of AI. These are the simple processes you know very well. If you are of M-Pharm student, then you can understand easily. So these are the basic parameters, you can say that basis basic processes of the drug development. And you know that these processes are taking 10 to 15 years. What the solution have I? Faster screening. What is the faster screening? So AI, what AI does, the lots of datas are available in the library, AI library. So they are screening the molecules, they are screening the required informations, synchronize it with the your demand and produce the product. Better prediction. AI can predict what is your demand. If you will give your input, then these are our databases available and that should be our product. So on that basis, AI will predict and produce the model, produce the result. Obviously, it will be cost effective. Personalized medicines. So what is personalized medicines? So lots of now you know that drug resistance are there. So for getting a personalized medicine in the sense like some genetic diseases, several genetic diseases are not being treated. So in that way, personalized medicines are being developed for a localized area, for the localized genetic diseases, for the specific diseases, massive biomedical databases, advances in machine learning and deep learning, need for fast decision making and improved prediction accuracy, whatever is told. Here just a model, this model has been generated by Merck, is working in Germany. So is working on this one software, so Reinvent, generated by Merck. So what happening here, we have some informations of known chemical spaces, some known chemicals like public data are there, commercial data are there, proprietary data are there. So what we do, whatever I told previously, they capture all these three type of, or more than three of the data, and prepare a ultra library. A predictive model will be created by using the known chemical species. Now, what is the unknown chemical species? These are the data. But on the basis of prediction, on the basis of the requirement, the generative AI, I'll explain different types of AI are there. So generative AI will create a molecule for you and synchronize that available data and the generative AI based designed molecules, and then collaborate with all the informations and these molecules to prepare a perfect medicine, to prepare a AI generated medicine for the human health. So what will happen here? The optimized hits will be there, optimized synthesizable drugs will be there, validated model will be there, your ADMT data are there. So on the basis of all the synchronizations, they will produce the futuristic medicine, they will produce the AI generated medicines. But again, question ahead that what is the confidence score? Confidence score is required because we have hypothesized that this medicine will work in that way. We'll test that one. So for the testing, there is several agents are AI agents are there which test your molecules in the required way. So DMTA, you have listened about the DMTA. So design, make, test, analyze. So on that all information basis, agentic AI will give you the confidence score. If your confidence score comes more than zero point 0.6, then it will be considered for the next stage. Like the same, this is the just a product of this slide. So above to one, you have the informations in your database. You have ADME data, toxicological data, and these are the synthesized. And what AI have done, they have linked subfragments in the chemical structure on the basis of the specific required diseases, and produces the product. So the scope of current AI drug discovery is in biopharmaceutics, because why biopharmaceutics? Because due to of the complex structures. So they have worked on that one first, and lots of countries, AI, America, Germany, Britain are working on that, and several products are in there. So what generative AI for the molecule design? So creation of novel compound with the desired characteristic. Already I have told. So digital twins, AI guided personalized therapies, already told. Precision medicines, so virtual models of patient for treatment and simulations. So as explained earlier, that you are just predict you are giving the data to AI, whatever data available with you, and the situation like your prediction, and the AI simulate all that data and your prediction, and provides a precision medicines. Autonomous laboratories, so the AI with the robotic conducting experiments with minimal human intervention. Like you know that in the traditional system, if you have to capture a chemogram, then you have to inject your medicine in the in the animal body. But here AI have the information of different animals body mechanism, and on that basis, the collaborated information of the AI, your chemical database of the drug, and human or animal body functionalities, they produce autonomous product, autonomous information. The foundation models of biologies are there. You may go through with this slide. So here I have just mentioned some benefits of the AI. So AI target identification. What will be the benefits? Faster identification of the therapeutic target, better understanding of the disease mechanism, faster innovation cycle, drug, rare disease research, improved clinical trial design, competitive advantages. What AI lead to optimization? How? So by predicting potency, selectivity, toxicity, ADMET properties. So these are the basic benefit, and on the basis of some basic tools, AI producing some benefits to the traditional system, right? So what generative AI in the drug design, and what are the industrial benefits of AI? Here in this slide, we'll discuss. I have told several times, I've used several times generative AI. You may know about the generative AI, but here just rethink that what is the difference between AI and generative AI? Why generative AI came? Why agentic AI came? Because the basic AI work on the principle of the available database only. What are the data available in the library of the AI? They predict, synchronize, and produce the report, that this is the AI generated report for that. What is generative AI? In generative AI, they generate information on the basis of its training. On what level the AI system has been trained, the what level of the emotions incorporated in the AI, what is the geographical informations inputted in the AI. So on that all simulated information and database, they produce the product. So that's why generative AI now required. So what is the industrial benefits of AI? Development time automatically reduced, cost always already reduced. So improve productivity, higher probability of success. Now we'll discuss about the Indian market scenario. I have already told, because lots of the 99% works on AI for the medical field, for the drug discovery, are in the progress around the globe, but it is on very much initial stage in the India. If we'll discuss, then how many AI drugs are being developed in India? So I don't have we have any information for the Indian market that this one product generated by the AI. So this is the initial stage. So you know about the Niti Aayog of our India. So what is Niti? National Institute of Transforming India. So Niti Aayog has given a platform to R&Ds to develop generative AI and quantum computing to drastically reduce the research cost and timelines. You have seen the case of COVID-19, when why the COVID-19 introduction taken that much time. Patients were dying, but you will listen that clinical trial was going on. So it will launch in this month, that month. So that was the drug discovery timeline. So Niti Aayog has focused to AI driven drug discovery system need to be initiated, need to be incorporated in our country also. So these are some strategic pillars of leveraging India's population data, public, private, and institutional collaborations, and integration with the quantum computing. Here in this session, you are also saying that why your faculties has arranged this session. So just like some, this is the just a collaborative discussion from the institutional aspects and industrial aspects. That is in simple language, you can say that what this is the collaboration of theoretical and practical knowledge, and that will produce a perfect information, perfect database, or perfect product. So Niti Aayog has given a target to reduce costing, time, focus on national health needs, and responsible AI. Your word responsible AI, why not only AI? Because AI is a machine. What commands we have given to that, they will produce on that basis. What training we have given the robot, they will act on that basis. For the generative AI, for AI agent, they have a specific but precise work. That's why Niti Aayog has mentioned responsible AI. So all biomedical AI tools must pass benchmarking and validation frameworks. If we will discuss about the industrial aspects, so the different thought processes are among the R&D, different thought processes among the different scientists, but every cannot be implemented. If you will go through, so you can say that the industry is in between the R&D and the market, right? So this is the in between center, so the responsibility over the industry is too much, right? So every process, every discovery system, every method need to be validated before implementing that one. So both platform is there of our Niti Aayog for such validation activity and testing activity of the AI. So India is focusing on the clinical trial field first by using the AI driven system. There are some databases I am here not to just warn you, or these are the actual data among the globe, right? And now FDA has also, US FDA and European medicine agencies have also released some guidelines regarding the good AI practices in drug development. You know about, you may learn about good manufacturing practices, good laboratory practices, good warehouse practices, good clinical practices. So now good AI practices in drug development also came. Till 2025 it was in draft condition. Now some guidelines has been released, approved guidelines, and on these below mentioned principles they have prepared the guideline. So human centric design, what is human centric design? AI system should reflect ethical and human values, prioritizing the patient safety and health. So human centric design, it should be human centric design, matlab it means ki the medicine is being manufactured, developed for which population. So it should be centric toward the that one population, that one the zone, that one the area, that one for the human. So risk based approach, so validation, oversight, safeguard, already discussed. So adheres to the standards, so compliance. What you have listened in the last session by Dr. Abhishek, he has very much given the too much extensive data informations on the regulatory requirement. So adherence to the standard, it means regulatory requirement. For the every step, you need have legal documents. It need to be filed to the different agencies, related agencies. Once it cross verified, once authorized, approved, then you can go ahead. Cyber security is the most of the challenges we'll discuss in the sides next slide, where we have incorporated some challenges whatever going on. Clear context of the use. Your use context of the use should be clear. It should not be ambiguous. Transparency and explainability. Data quality and governance, you have already gone through the in last session, data quality and governance, so we'll skip it. Monitoring and life cycle management. If medicine has been developed or produced, so scientists' responsibility does not end it there. You have to keep your eyes on the till complete life cycle of the product. Robustness and reliability, ethical considerations, and collaboration and alignments. So these are the principles of AI. That's why the FDA are worried about the use of AI in drug discovery. And on the if it will complies on all these principles, they then you will approve for the go ahead for a model generated by AI. Some examples are there for the okay. So some examples of the industry, those are working on the AI generated drug discovery. So in silico medicines, XCNs, Transvolt AI. So these are the AI based industry. Those are working on the drug discovery and they have collaboration with pharmaceutical industries like Pfizer, Novartis, AstraZeneca. Other are also in the market. We have kept some examples are there only. These industries have collaboration with the above mentioned industries, AI industries, and that industry is working for development of the product for Pfizer, Novartis, AstraZeneca, Merck, like that industries. So they are focusing on the what so strategic partnership and digital transformation, because the above mentioned industries like in silico medicine, they have the database. They have created a large library. What have I seen to you in the second slide, right? They have the generative AI, they have the agentic AI, they have developed in that way. Now, the Pfizer have given the what given the task to him that we have to develop the medicine for this one disease, for this one zone, and it need to work in this way. So they have started development on that one basis. And what is the current scenario? This is the current scenario. The first company you have seen that in silico medicine. So you can say that the founder of in silico medicine has spent decades for the development of one molecule, that is the rentosertib. This is the AI generated molecule which is used for the idiopathic pulmonary fibrosis. You know that this disease causes the patient cannot breathe. If if any patient is suffering from this one, so lung condition is very slowly destroys and patient cannot breathe. So rentosertib AI generated medicine generated by this one company, but it taken decades. 71 patients were treated, signals were positive. But what is the current scenario? it is still not approved by the FDA. You can't imagine that how much money was spent on that one project, but still it has not been approved by the FDA. There are 173, as per the available data till 2026, 173 AI drug programs are under clinical trial. Clinical trial means you can say that the second last phase of the drug launch, uh, like Eli Lilly, Takeda, Novartis. So they are in the clinical trial phase. So once clinical trial will be completed, then FDA will approve and it may come in the market. So this is the current industrial scenario. Now the most interesting slide of this session is the challenges. What are the challenges and limitations of AI in pharmaceutical industry? Challenges are there, data quality issue. I just want to share one of my experience in such a way when I was working in one of the top three company of the India in 2015. So I was in R&D, and at that time we are working on some master data management system. So there are 17 to 18 pharmaceutical plants of of that company was there, and the project was there to collect the master data from all the industry, all the plants, and just investigate it, just evaluate it, and to prepare a 17 equal to 1 master data, right? So try to understand is someone has just written a same topic like calibration. Suppose that they have written the calibration module. When in calibration module, the parameters was same, but one the parameter one linearity on the third position, precision was the second position. In the SOP of second one plant, they have shifted the third one on the second one on the fourth one. Some have the spelling mistakes. Someone have used comma, someone has used full stop, like that in the data. Now we have used, I had already used AI in 2015. So we had the AI based model in that if you will put just scan and upload the documents of all that 17 plant, then the AI was capable to generate a single master data. But what happened? The logic behind the AI was that pronunciation. That AI was generated on the basis of pronunciation. So machine what they are capturing the data from the scanned data, and they pronounce in the machine language, and then machine understand the language and just collaborate the data and producing the a new one data. And what happened? Due to availability of incorrect data, insufficient data, irregular data, we were not able to produce a final single one master data. The project was collapsed due to availability of the data with the issues, data with the wrong input, data with the incomplete input. Sorry. So data integration complexity, what have I already explained? These are the complexity of the integration of data. Because suppose that in the current scenario, the pharmaceutics person had generated the algorithm in the AI on the basis of pharmaceutics. Pharma chemistry person has generated the algorithm for chemistry. Pharmacologist has generated the algorithms for the basis of pharmacology. Now the generative AI, the AI agent have to collaborate all that all that algorithm and produce a product. So it is very difficult to collaborate. It is very difficult to simulate different allographies, different data, and produce a model. So that's why the FDA are worried. FDA are questioning too much, taking too much time to approve the data because the AI generated products will be precise, validated, responsible. Limited interpretability, regulatory uncertainties, data dependency. So these are the current challenges for the AI. And what are the regulatory ethical concerns? So data privacy is the most of concern. Bias in allographies. If if our model is biased for a particular allography, suppose that we have a focus on the pharmacodynamics, pharmacokinetics. So that model is focused on pharmacodynamics study only. They are not too much focused on the chemistry part. So this is the biased allography. Model transparency, compliance requirement, regulatory hurdles. So these are the challenges. And what are the implementation challenges in the industry are the infrastructure cost, because infrastructure cost is too much. It's too much and more expensive because you are creating infrastructure. So one time investment, but investment is too much. Skilled workforce shortage because it is in the initial stage in our country. We'll discuss about the India, then it is very initial stage for the AI. So skilled workforce are very short. Legacy system, our mind state, our legacy system is not permitting us to move to the AI because lots of negative questions are coming up. What will happen if AI will come? And the most widely question coming in all's mind that AI will replace the human. Validation requirements are too much. Cyber security risk is always there. So these are the most of the challenges for the industry to adopt the AI. But it has to. It has to. So we need to think, we need to be prepared, we need to work, we need to focus in our project by keeping in mind such challenges. If you'll develop a drug, but it cannot be implemented in the industry, then what will be the outcome of our research? So we need to focus on these challenges also. And there is a challenge. Just we have taken this example for your fun or for your curiosity. So I want to know from the student side. Students focus on these pictures. Just a simple, we have given a scenario. We have given a scenario to the AI that there is two scientists, one is male, one is female, discussing on some problems. You can see that several why and how and where was there, and working on the solution. We have given this situation and is told to AI to generate an image for that one situation. So AI is very much a good way generated that yes, there is a male scientist, there is a female scientist, they are working on paper, discussing like that. But can you identify the what is the gap, what is the issue with the generated AI? Anyone can raise your hand if you can identify some issues in the product, in the outcome, in the picture. Yes, audience, this is question from my side.
Yes, any
Can you
student? Any
identify,
student?
if anyone, just focus on the picture. The scenario is that there is a male and there is a female scientist discussing over some questions, discussing over the some situation, and AI has generated the picture on that scenario. So what mistake has done by the AI? Can you predict? Can you find out?
Anybody try? classroom? Nobody.
So just think that if we cannot find a mistake in the in this one picture where scenario is very small, then what, how much it will be difficult to validate, how much it will be difficult to identify the mistakes in the generative AI generated model, and how can we test that one. So again, for testing that one product, again a new AI is required, because human brain are not that much intelligent or not specific to identify that one mistakes. And if human will identify, then it will take time. So the big challenge to the industry is that I just want to add on the answer. If you focus on the one hand of the male scientist, then you can see that there are 6 or 7 fingers in that hand. We have not given the scenario to generate scientists with the 6 or 7 fingers. In left hand, 5 fingers were there. In right hand and in left hand, 7 fingers are there. So this is the minor mistake which we have not identified, but that mistake will may lead to a defective product. It may cause adverse effects, side effects, some critical scenarios will may create. So that is the scenario you need to understand the AI. AI is not capable to work everything on his own basis. Your curiosity, your empathy, your knowledge will be used to produce a product by AI. What will the future trend? These will be the future trend. What have I discussed? Generative AI, digital twins, multi-omics integration, explainable AI, autonomous laboratories, agentic AI, and the last one is the important, then human expertise and AI must work together. AI will not be able to run, not able to work alone. So human expertise, human brain collaboration with AI will work together. So this is the conclusion, and this is the last slide of my session. AI will not replace drug scientists, but scientists using AI will redefine the future of the drug discovery. So students, you are the future of the upcoming system. You need to utilize your brain. You need to use your empathy, your curiosity, your knowledge, focus, goal to support the AI to make a redefined future in drug discovery, in industry practices, and the country requirement. So that's all from my side, and it will be a pleasure for me if you have some questions.
I request the participants to raise your queries or any questions uh, if you are having on this presentation. Anybody from the participants? I do request to raise any questions or queries regarding the topic or anything you want to discuss.
Hope minds are full because of being the last session. But students, you must have questions. You must have
Yes, sir.
questions.
There is one question. What are the skills that we need to learn related to artificial intelligence in drug discovery? And
So
we have another Yes, sir, please.
Yes, so for that one skill, I have explained that you need to understand the principles of AI. On what principle which AI is working on. If you have the idea about the principle, I have mentioned several AI models there. So like Cynthia, DMTA, like agentic AI, different AIs are there. So what is the principle? And on what basis they are working, that skill need to be have the developers to understand the mechanism, understand the processes. So principle is required for that one.
Sir, there is another question that can AI validate the in vivo experimentation data,
Yeah,
the
definitely.
preclinical? Yes, sir.
Definitely they can. I've mentioned a DMTA, agentic AI, that is the design, make, test, analyze. It's available in the market. In that, you need to input your data, yeah, or you can synchronize the available data sheet with that one AI agent. Then he can validate, he can review the system, and they can produce the result. They can validate that one. And this was not a single example. Different AI, agentic AI are there. But again, I want to just re-explain that it is not possible that one agent can validate your task. You need to have collaboration with the AI agent for on which basis, on which principle they are working, and is it peculiar to understand your scientific data and reproduce the data.
Thank you very much, sir. So there is one last question. Can the AI generated molecules can be optimized in a proper way?
Optimized.
The question was, can the AI generated molecules can be optimized?
Yeah, definitely it can be optimized during the validation processes. The last phase of the development, it will be optimized, because without optimization it cannot be validated. I'm not sure I have answered in the right way or not, because question was something, but optimization is the process of drug development. So it must be done by that.
Sure, sir. There is another question is that how does AI handle novel disease targets for which very little biological data is available?
Yes. So what have I explained for the agentic AI sheet data, slide third or fourth? Here, what happened? You have given the scenario, you have given the disease. So AI have the database. On that basis, they can collect the information about that one disease. What are the informations required? And the scenario was given to that, so they will collaborate the databases, they will collaborate the available informations in the library, and on that basis, sorry, can you repeat the question, the last one? So you're not audible. Yeah,
Am I now audible, sir?
yeah, yeah,
Yes.
right.
Sir, the question is that how AI handles novel disease targets for which very little biological data is available.
Yes, so those little biological data will be critical for the AI, because without data AI cannot generate that one. And you're talking about the novel disease. So again, there is very less database are there. So for that one, that's why we have mentioned that human curiosity, human empathy, human knowledge, human brain can be collaborated with the AI to produce such type of answer. So the question generated by the student, you need to note that your that curiosity is required to operate the AI. So nothing to worry, you will not be replaced by the AI. You will be required for gathering, for creating to and mentioning the information for the AI to work on that. AI will just synchronize your informations, and it will add on their generative ideas to produce the AI generated product.
Hopefully there are no further questions, sir. Any questions from the participant sides, students? Any questions, further questions? There is another question, sir. How
Yeah.
can AI improve efficiency of clinical trials?
Yeah, definitely. Very interesting question. So, if you'll work in the clinical trial field, so lots of statistical data are being generated and maintained for a successive clinical trial. So here, AI can use AI can give predictive statistical data table in advance to work on that. So here, how AI will help? AI will give the predictable database, predictable table, statistical table. Then you have to just execute that on that one. So that will be the help from the AI side.
Okay, sir. There is another one question that can generative AI discover first in class drugs, or is it only limited to exploring chemical spaces represented in its training data?
No, here answer is the generative AI. Answer is the agentic AI. We have generative agentic AI for the specific target. So available library is the basic need for the AI. So a strategic generative AI, agentic AI will support, and they will add on their thought process. They will add on the database and produce the AI generated product.
Thank you for the information, sir. Any other questions?
Yeah, it's a great. So students are thought these questions.
Number of questions are coming.
Yeah.
So if I will go to conclude,
Yes, sir. Yes, thank you very much, sir. I would take this opportunity to thank Mr. Santosh Kumar Roshan for presenting a very knowledgeful and informative uh, data regarding how AI can imbibe our minds, how AI can proceed for drug discovery, and how can our thought process affect AI in the drug discovery process, and what are the opportunities and challenges. Thank you very much, sir, for accepting our invitation and taking out little time for us from your very hectic and busy schedule. Thank you very much, sir. Do I now request our respected Dean Sir, Dr. Amir Kumar Prustisha, to present a token of appreciation and gratitude to you, sir. Sir, please.
uh, thank you, Santosh ji, for
Thank you so much.
sparing your valuable time and enlightening us on this AI, generative AI, and how we can improve in drug discovery. So thank you, and we'll discuss later on if there will be any queries from students. So please accept this token of
Thank you.
appreciation
Thank you so much.
on behalf of C.V. Raman Global University. And whenever you are coming to Odisha by chance, please call us so that we can have a physical meeting, and
Definitely, sir.
there will be thought sharings with our students, directly with our students.
Yeah.
So thank you. So,
Thank you.
over to you,
Thank
sir.
you so much.
Thank you very much, sir. Now, coming to the end of this session. I extend my sincere gratitude to our respected speakers for accepting our invitation and sharing their expertise with us. I also do appreciate the efforts of the organizing team for making this session or webinar, so to say, a very successful platform for knowledge exchange. I also thank for all the participants for their active involvement, enthusiasm, and putting forward some interesting questions as well. Your engagement and curiosity makes such academic platforms very impactful. With this, we conclude this session of day 2, and we are eagerly looking forward for welcoming you all on the final day of this national webinar, where we will continue exploring the future possibilities of artificial intelligence driving innovations in drug discovery. Thank you very much. Good day.
Recording